Up the longest. Go ahead. You got to unmute, Rick. You've done it before, Rick. You'll figure it out. Bottom left-hand corner, mic icon. Click it. I'll let you know when you get it. Well, you keep playing with it, Rick, and then when you get it, I'll let you know, and I'm going to move to Laura, then I'll come back to you. Laura, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I'm Laura, and I have a question. Oh, there's Rick.
Yeah,
Rick's
it's okay.
back.
You go, and then we'll get Rick next. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question regarding doing.
Oh, no. No, you've muted yourself. We're off to a bumpy technological Monday, but we will get there. Don't worry.
All right, here
okay.
I am.
Now I got you. Yep.
Flickr and doing your photos through Flickr. And then I have a question regarding art storefront. Is that where you're sponsoring me as I sell my art?
Not quite sponsoring you. That's a little bit different. And I love that you brought up Flickr. I haven't heard anybody reference Flickr in a long time. I mean, I used to love that site, to be honest with you, way back in the day. Flickr's been around a long time, right? Okay. So, all right. So Flickr. No. Flickr is it's an old school website. We don't even need to talk about Flickr. What we do is everybody owns everything with us. So it's your URL, it's your domain name. You know, it could be, lauramorrison.com, right? And we would host the website for you. Your work would be on it, and then we would teach you to market and grow that business. So that's how it goes. But the artist owns everything with us. And the artist needs to own everything always, no matter what. Because as you saw me allude to in the video, like, you need to know who your customers are. You need to be capturing emails that you own, right? You need to be marketing to those folks directly. So that's what becomes possible with all of it. Have you tried to sell your photography up till now?
I have not tried to sell my photography. I've sold a couple of art pieces because I also do painting and that kind of stuff. And I got my stuff in a gallery library for a month, which was fun, but nobody called me.
Yeah.
And and I'm doing a demo tonight, so on my art. So I'm trying to get out there, but it's slow.
It's slow. And you know what? That's how it's supposed to be in the beginning. It's not supposed to be easy, right? This was like the thing that, like, on Friday I had one of these, and I really started ranting and going like a little bit crazy because I get so frustrated. And somebody internally on my team sent me a video of a competitor, and they're like, "Hey, look at this video. They're using some of your language." Like, and I watched the video, and I don't think these people were bad people per se, and they were selling a different solution, and that's fine. But they were like highlighting all of the things the solutions do and how important it is for artists. And I was like watching that video, and I'm like, none of this is important for artists. None of this is going to help an art business grow in the slightest. What are you guys talking about? And there's like so many roads you guys get led down. And, a perfect example is SEO, right? SEO stands for search engine optimization. What most people think is, like, if you somehow master search engine optimization, that people are going to be searching Google for art, find you, and buy art, right? Number one, that's not how art sells. Number two, it is very, very difficult to rank at the very top for just about any keyword in today's day and age. It is a fool's errand to contemplate and tell artists that if somehow they just put in some magical keywords, or any business in today's day and age for that matter, that you're all of a sudden going to explode and get all this business is nonsensical. And it all just comes back to the same premise that, like, there's some easy path to do this, right? Like, a lot of you guys have been trying to do this on your own in various different venues. How has it worked out? Is there anything that is easy about it? The answer to that is no. Right? You have to get your house in order. You have to start it on your marketing. It's going to be slow at first, but you pick up momentum, you learn, you get better, and you start getting better every day, and you actually have a business that's growing. So when you said you had a demo tonight, you have a demo like you're looking at our software, or you have like a demo you're showing your paintings?
No, I am doing a art demo. I'm going to my art club, and I'm demonstrating one of my art pieces, and I'm like going to be painting on it, and people are going to watch me. Cool. But I'm not the only one. So
yeah. So in the future, the difference would be is like, we'll teach you how to stream that onto the internet. You'll stream it onto your Instagram account and your Facebook account at the same time. And you'll be using the event to also talk to your audience at home. And then you'll have a little contest out of it, and you'll have a giveaway at the very end of it. And to get the giveaway, they're going to have to opt into your email list. So you'll get a couple of opt-ins as well as whatever opt-ins you get in person. And then you run a discount after the fact to everyone that didn't win the giveaway. It's simple things like that, where you like take the real world in-person events that you have the ability, that you have the local ability to go to, and maximize it as a marketing moment, right? Like those are the things that you need to be taught to do. We can certainly help you. Right.
Well, I'm quite new. I mean, I've only been painting since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fairly new, but I'm making kind of a change in some of my things that I'm doing, and want to be doing more things that I love.
Love it.
So
love it. Well, good.
So thank you.
Yeah. Good luck tonight, huh? Let me know how it goes.
Thanks. All right.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Okay, we'll go back to Rick, and then we'll get you next, Steve. Do whatever you did again, Rick. And I'll let you know when you get it. It's just clicking the microphone icon in the corner. You know, there's that little microphone icon, and boom, click that. You got it last time, Rick. I'm confident you're going to get it again. Let's go, Rick. You've done it before. I know you can do it. Microphone icon, bottom left-hand corner. So it's kind of hard for me to point. This little thing right here, all you have to do is click it once. That thing. That thing. I got to get like a little laser pointer that works on this. All right, keep practicing, Rick. We'll get you there. Go ahead, Steve.
God. Oh, there. I'm
okay,
here.
Okay. You might not get it again, Steve. So just sit tight. Okay, Rick, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick.
My pleasure.
Well, first off, I'm going to raise the money, the $1,400 to join artist storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and some young friends of mine, young, not like I'm old, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
younger people, they say, hey, we can help you set up a GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so anyway, but I wanted to add the thing about the videos.
Mm-hmm.
I keep doing the Instagram videos,
Mm-hmm.
And getting some very interesting reactions. I mean, some people say, God, your stuff is great.
Mm-hmm.
One woman said, I love, and I sometimes, small pieces, I'll hold them up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and talk about them. And she said, I love that one. So I messaged back, well, I said, look great on your wall, like
Good.
you said.
Good. What'd you say?
You know, could have been the beginning of a sales call.
There we go.
And also, I don't know, I feel very comfortable on camera. I grew up in a movie TV business family. My father was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I painted for years, but I was a stage actor. So I have fun with it, you know.
Yeah.
And then one person even said, you are a beautiful teacher. I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Yes. And then to which you reply, I take cash, check, PayPal, Venmo, cryptocurrency, Visa, Square. Let's do this.
And after my own heart. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, I would say to everybody, you know, at first I was worried, well, how will I look? How will I do this? The more you do them, you just get, it's much easier. And I've learned how to put into 90 seconds a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's talking about making Instagram Reels, by the way, because he's
Instagram Reels is what I'm talking about. Yeah. And God, other than that, I just wanted to say that, and I'm going to keep doing them and raise money to join you guys.
Good. So. Raise money by selling that art, Rick, and keep going. Head down for 1 year. 1 year. No stopping for 1 year. Like when you give yourself the time to actually like get good and master it, and you know one of the interesting things that he said was like, you know, it's hard to truncate one's thoughts into 90 seconds, like when you're figuring out how to do reels. And there's a bunch of marketing stuff like that. But good job, Steve. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey,
Steve here from New Hampshire. Probably a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
Signature or no signature?
So how I think
photography.
People get really wrapped up in the signature no signature thing, and what I've found is that that's almost always the artist reading their nonsense into something rather than letting the market to decide. Because what I find in my experience is that there's different types of buyers. There's some that the signature is really important for, and they'll pay extra for it. There's some that don't care. They'll take the digital signature, or they'll take no signature if they can just get another $50 off the aluminum print or the metal print or the canvas print or whatever it is. So what we advocate traditionally for our customers, and especially for photographers, you either have no signature option and hand signature option, or you have digital signature option and hand signature option, or you save the hand signature for your limited editions only. Okay, so various different options there. But if they, what I'm trying to say, two different options, whether it's a limited, whether you save it and you make it exclusive for your limited editions, or whether you say, no problem, I'd love to hand sign it for you, but it's an additional $75, right? And then what happens in that instance is the thing gets shipped to you. You gently unwrap their packaging, take it out, hand sign it, seal it back up in their packaging, seal it back up in the box, and then ship it to them. So there's going to be an additional shipping charge in there and your time, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. But more often than not, you would be surprised. Like, you know, everyone's like, well, you know, no one's going to like the work, or no one's going to, and then no one ever asks the buyers, and the buyers are like, nah, I don't care. I don't want a signature. Doesn't matter. You know, include a certificate of authenticity.
On a photograph, I'm talking like a digital signature, because I can produce the same photograph with or without a signature.
Yeah. Got it.
You know, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if I was Picasso, yeah, the signature would probably have value, but otherwise maybe not.
Yeah, you leave it up to the buyer. Like you could offer it with or without. It's really, really easy to do that. So you can offer it on a case-by-case basis. But then again, on the signature, like there's some people that do want the prestige of the signature, right? And so sometimes it makes sense to save it for limited editions, you know, to add like an extra level of prestige to it. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Is it cold in New Hampshire already or no? No, Steve got unmuted. I want to unmute you again.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Frost expected in the next few days, probably.
Got it. I was like asking, I bet he put in the chat earlier, like, you know, hi from the New Hampshire seacoast. And I was like, sounds kind of nice. Sounds kind of nice right now. And the leaves start changing a little bit. Like, you know, I can dig it.
In the summer, it's awesome, but now not so much.
Yeah. A little colder.
All right. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, it's going to go Dasha, then Janice. Go ahead, Dasha.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
I sure can.
Because I had my sound and video off. So actually, I had a different question, but I want to, since we mentioned signatures, I realized that has also been my question for a while. So I'm a fine artist and oil painter. And a lot of times I feel like, you know, putting a signature on the bottom will ruin the piece. So for a while, I've been signing all of my paintings on the back, but then at the same time, a lot of times, like I see, you know, artists like are so proud to put their signature on the front. So I don't know if I'm, you know, missing out on putting it on the front, or you know, maybe it will cost more.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, everyone gets hung up on it. Most of the time you'll find the buyers don't care, right? Like, you know, if Dasha, if your options are signed in on the front and you feel like that's going to hurt the integrity of the piece, well, then sign it on the back. Who cares? They're not going to care. You know, they're going to know it's an original for you. It becomes more of an interesting question if you're not just selling originals and you're selling prints as well, right? Then you need to sort of make like a formal decision. Do you want to include a digital signature on it, or, you know, do you want to hand sign each one? Do you know, how do you want to go about it then? But by and large, like, you know, buyers, you'll find more often than not don't care. Most of them don't care.
Okay.
It's not going to make or break the sale for sure, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So my other question was actually about prints. And so for a while I've been thinking of, you know, releasing prints, but I was always kind of against it, because I was always like traditional, you know, in a way of I don't know, I always wanted to, you know, just paint and sell the originals. I never really got the hang of, how to do prints, but I see that now, like, more people, every time I would post a painting, everyone's asking, do you have prints of this? Are you making prints? And I keep saying, like, I will in the future. And I just, and then I start looking at, about print options, and it's all of these like different papers, and it's so confusing, and I don't know how to go about it. So I just put it off and put it off. But
Yeah, you
I
can't.
just want to ask, like,
You
how
can't.
important are prints for like a fine artist?
It's really, really important. And this is another one of the things that like infuriates me, because you guys are all taught about art history, right? And all the masters and all the periods and Sunday afternoon on the island of Grand Jate and everything else, but nowhere in there was a damn class about how do you actually turn your creative passion into a business. And if there was,
Exactly.
there would be a class in terms of pricing and understanding the importance of having a range of pricing. Okay, you need prices from $0 to $100. You need prices from $100 to $1,000, and you need prices above $1,000. Now, what does an original start at currently?
Usually my originals are like between 500 to 1,500. I have some listed for 2,000, but I haven't sold any for 2,000. I think I guess like
I'm gonna send
most
you.
are
I'm
like
gonna
500 to 1,000.
don't worry. I'm gonna send you an article on pricing that I want you to read that I think will be really, really important. But what you understand is that what you need to understand is, yes, you're a creative. Okay. All of that like creative, artistic integrity, I only want to do originals, is the biggest bunch of bullshit in the history of mankind. Okay. You want to be able to take this passion you have and actually live off of it and actually support yourself and your family. If that's going to be the case, you need to start acting like a business, okay? And acting like a business does not mean throw integrity to the wind. Acting like a business means understanding that there are fundamentals that underpin how successful you will be or not will be. Understanding that you're going to be an artist for the rest of your natural born life, and you want that business to continue to grow. So Dasha's out there and she's doing her marketing, and she somehow reaches me, and I follow her on Instagram, and I'm like, damn, she has got skills. She is creative. I really would like to buy one of these things. And so I send a DM to Dasha, and Dasha's like, hey, Patrick, my original start at $500. Well, currently, I am living in my mother's basement, and I have approximately $85. And do you know what I would love to do? Buy a damn print so that I can look at your art every single solitary day. But guess what happens? You don't sell them. And so instead of me buying them, I've left and I never purchased anything. Do you know what's interesting about the socioeconomic bell curve? I'm down at the bottom of it right now because I'm living in my mother's basement. But that thing is not a fixed value, okay? There are people on the low end of the scheme, the lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. And people are moving up and down that bell curve and will throughout their lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now that you didn't sell a print to, 4 years from now is going to go buy their first house, and they're going to have a bunch of money for art. And the fact that one of your prints is not in their mother's basement wall and they were looking at you every single solitary day, your work for the last 4 years, means you're no longer top of mind. Someone else is, and you're missing out on that sale. And so you understand the fundamentals of how important it is to have these various different things. And then, in the pricing article, I go into depth about absolutely all of it, which is why you need to have the prints, right? Because it's very hard with originals to achieve the type of price points you need. You need prices from $0 to $100. You need non-wall art as part of the lineup. I don't care what the non-wall art is, but it needs to be non-wall art. Cell phone cases, throw pillows, coasters, greeting cards, calendars. I don't care what it is. There needs to be merchandise in there. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Your $0 to $100 range are your cheaper, is your merchandise and your cheaper prints. Okay, the $100 to $1,000 range, you're starting with your smaller size prints. You're potentially getting into bigger prints, maybe into limited editions, maybe some of your smaller originals, and then up over $1,000, you start in with your originals. And then the next pushback thing that I get all the time is like, merchandise, these cheaper price points, won't that cheapen me as an artist? Dasha, let me know the last museum you walked into that didn't have a gift shop.
Sure.
I'll wait. right? Tell me.
Mhm.
Like, you're telling me people can't go in and buy a poster of Van Gogh and they're appreciating Van Gogh any less, and Van Gogh is thought of any less because someone got a poster of Starry Night for $40? No, the museum is a business. You guys need to start behaving like businesses, or the business is not going to grow. You need to acquire collectors at the high end of the scale and at the low end of the scale. And it is critically, critically important. Not only that, all of these people that come to you with the low ball offers, which happens to every single solitary one of you, and how much does that hurt, right? Like, does this person know how many hours Dasha spent on this? How many shirts like this one that Dasha's ruined with paint to achieve this beautiful original? And I'm trying to charge $1,000 for this, and this scumbag just offered me $250. And it's like, you won't even get angry in that situation anymore, because you'll be like, Patrick, I'm flattered by your offer. There's no way I'm going to sell it for that range, but let me show you what I have in my price range in your budget. And you steer them right to the $250. And you'll find when you have the entire range on display like that, these situations just go away on their own. It helps you with the entire thing. It helps you raise your prices. The counterintuitive thing with pricing, which I love to teach, is as important as it is having the lower end of the scale for the aforementioned reasons as well as others. You have to have something super high in the scale too. So I want you to take whatever original is your favorite, and I want you to jack the price to like $8,500 or maybe even $12,500 or maybe even $20,000. And the reason is it's a thing called price anchoring. Okay, so human beings as a species, we are sort of psychologically wired towards making decisions based off comparisons. Okay, now let me give you a real world example where this has been true for a long time. You know, when you go to a car dealership, it's a Toyota dealership, Mercedes dealership, whatever it is, and in the very center of the dealership is a giant glass box, right? Where you have to go talk to those annoying salespeople and get the deal over the line. Do you know what else is always in the annoying glass box? You know, the Toyota Supra Model R 27 carbon fiber, right? Some sort of $175,000 supercar. And it turns out that having that car inside of the glass and human beings, us, understanding what that costs, we anchor to that high-priced item. And we're like, okay, that's going to make me feel better spending the $60,000, $70,000 on the Toyota Highlander or whatever minivan or whatever you're getting, right? So there's a phenomenon that based on comparison, by having the higher level item, we feel better about purchasing in the middle. No one ever teaches you that. In addition to that, every once in a while, you will attract a high net worth buyer into your ecosystem. You'll never know when you do, but sometimes when you don't have a price point for them, they're out. They're out because, you know, your original for $1,500 doesn't give them the dopamine hit that they're looking at. And then they're like, wait a minute, $12,500 for this one, Dasha, let's talk. What's going on? You just might sell it from time to time. So having the high end piece, which is much easier to do with art than it is photography, by the way. So you're looking at me, Steve. With photography, you have to blow one up really, really big and have it on like a special medium and make it limited edition. But it's important to have at the low end as much as the high end. So I'm going to go grab this because I don't want to forget sending it to you. I'm going to get it now. It's a very, very good article on pricing. And no one ever teaches you guys this stuff. And it's like, you look at artist A and you look at artist B, you know, and the ones that figure this out, you always end up getting more of an ROI. ROI is return on investment on the marketing dollars that you do spend because you have this range of pricing, okay? And then is a final in there in that article, and it's in the chat. You guys should all click that so you can have it. In addition to that, we can get into markups and things like that because you should always be in a position where you can negotiate and run sales, but I've been ranting on that for long enough. So I hope that helps a little bit. Yes, no?
Yeah, that helped a lot with the prints and the merchandise. I was actually just earlier thinking about maybe I have some, you know, cool paintings that would look good on t-shirts, and I was thinking of doing that, but at the same time, like I didn't like think it would be fine to like mix, you know, like the fine art painting with like t-shirts.
It is totally okay.
Yeah.
It is totally okay. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, some of the most successful artists in the world don't do it, right? And we all follow the most successful artists in the world, and they're like, well, if they're not doing it, I don't have to do it. But there is such a small level of them that ever make it to that level. And guess what? If you do, you can drop all the merch and all the rest of the crap out of there. But in the meantime, let's treat this thing like a business and let's get it humming. Let's get it growing, huh?
Okay, true. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Dasha. Great questions. And I love you looking the part, right? With the, in the studio type of vibe, the paint all over the shirt. She's like, no one's doubting whether or not Nasha is creating artwork and selling it, right? Okay, go ahead, Janice. And you'll need to unmute too, Janice. Yep, looks like I gotcha. Talk for a sec. So you're unmuted, Janice, but what I think we're dealing with is sometimes computers have multiple microphones. And so if you look at the bottom of your Zoom, you can see my mouse is kind of on it. If you look at my picture, there's like a little up arrow. And if you click that thing, it will let you sort of look through your various different microphone sources. And I'm thinking you probably just have the wrong one. Alternatively, you could potentially do a restart if that doesn't work. But usually that fixes it. Or you could sometimes if you have a bad mic, then
Hear me now?
oh, boom, gotcha. Yeah, good work.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. Okay, so my question is, do you have three-dimensional artists having success with your method going through with your
Sculptors,
website, that kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool. 'Cause
at the end of the day, like, there's not really a perfect website software that anyone's built yet for sculpture or for crafters, for that matter, right?
Right.
But it's okay. Practically speaking, you need an e-commerce website to sell it. You know that. Everyone knows that, right?
Right.
So you're going to pick one anyway. All of them operate essentially the same, right? Like, is ours set up in a number of different ways for wall art? Yes. But you can also sell anything. We have people that are selling classes, and we have people that are selling books and records and CDs and all kinds of things. So you can sell whatever you want. You still have the marketing problem, which is the biggest problem, right?
Right. Right.
What are your starting price points in terms of your 3D stuff?
Well, here's the thing. On my sculpture, I'm a person who's been doing public art pieces, huge installations, life size and larger. Haven't ever gone down to a small, more
Consumer
personal
size, yeah.
except for with one company. I did their awards, their 15, 20, 25 years. And the truth is, that's the only time I actually repeating those orders. That's when I really was able
that's when
to
the light bulb went off.
Very good
yes,
money. So I'm thinking,
let's do that. Let's do more of that.
Yeah, I want to alter a little bit what I'm doing. So, or at least include something that is more of a repetition.
Yes. Yes, because those big gigs are awesome when you get them, but they take a lot of time, and they're few and far between.
And I've had a lot of them. I've been fairly successful at public arts, but that's a one of a kind, and you have to deal with cities, and you have to deal with general contractor. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. So, anyway, I want to be more practical in my approach and reach out and do more, limited editions, multiple editions, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to. So you have to. This is like literally why we exist, right? It's like it's the disconnect. It's the disconnect from like there should have been, there should have been classes on this, right?
There should have been. I also teach at UTA, and there are no classes on this.
I know.
I teach studio arts, and there's no classes on marketing. So it's it is what it is.
I had some professor like email me from, I don't know, it was some community, some decent sized school in the South somewhere, like art school. And this guy was so arrogant, and he was like, MFA, what is the other bullshit acronym that everyone puts in their title aside from MFA? MFA something PhD, right? In his title. And you've earned it. God bless you. My wife's got a PhD, so, God bless her too. But he's like, I've had a number of my students ask that you would come and speak to us. And, it sounds like you'd be a great fit for one of our classes. Can you do it tomorrow? And, he hasn't even asked, hasn't even like set up a conversation. He's like, can you do it tomorrow? Like, it was such an honor. I was like, dude, could you imagine in your head that maybe I might have a schedule that has things on it that I can't just move? I mean, I was really off put by it a little bit. Not really, but whatever. But yeah, it's upsetting. It's upsetting to me. And it's upsetting to me too. Like, everyone just follows the unicorns. you know, the ones that are selling at asking at Christie's, right? Or above
Right.
asking, or that one like newspaper article. Everybody gloms onto them, and then like we'll go look at them and look at their website, right? And they'll see their website that is like this artsy looking thing with all their awards and prestigious places that they've shown and everything else. And then everyone's like, okay, I need to do what they're doing. I need to look like them. And you never see the amount of work that those people put in, number one. Number two, you know, how good they are and how lucky they got, all of the above. But that is such a non-representative segment that you cannot optimize your business that way. It will not go anywhere. And when you figure these things out younger in your career, and again, like I'm routinely getting people in their 90s coming on these Zooms going, hey, can you help me? How can it go? And I look at that and I'm just so damn encouraged by it, because it's like everyone else that's getting in here in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like contemplate how much longer you have to get this right and get this thing on track, right? Like it's the amazing thing about like being blessed with the creative gift. You can't turn it off. You don't ever want to turn it off. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your lives. So if you have the ability to turn it into a decent business and provide income for the rest of your lives too, that's awesome. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to contemplate and work on. Doesn't mean it's easy.
Right. It's a totally different thing than what I've done so far. But like I say, I want to go smaller, want to go more repetition. I've had a very brief experience of that, which, you know, financially, that was a very good experience. And so you think that
Yeah, we can help
this
you out.
is
You
a
should-
good method for me, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, like
great.
no matter what, again, you have a marketing problem, right? You need to fix it. And when you do start fixing it, then the business is going to start growing and it's going places. On
Right.
3D images, especially if they're more expensive 3D images, you know, and sculptors ask me this all the time. It's like, hey, I just want to get all my stuff up on a website, and people are gonna look at it and buy it online, and I'm not gonna have to talk to them. And it's like, your starting pieces are at what? Well, they start at $5,500. And I'm like, there's like a basic known law of internet sales. If you're not selling Teslas, or you're not selling like Tiffany's, something with like a massive, massive brand ID, if somebody's going to spend over a couple $1,000s, they usually want to talk to somebody.
Right.
They want to talk to somebody either on the phone.
Right, and price points for sculpture, you know, higher than prints.
Yes,
But I could
massively
see
so.
where concept renderings, because I always do concept renderings, those could go into the lower price
Yeah.
items. So, okay, well, good. That's really it for me. You've answered my question.
Awesome. Thanks, Janice.
Thanks.
All right. There's an interesting comment in the chat by 808. Let me just pull this up so everyone else can see it. So 808, in your scenario, and he's like, you know, I have 200 canvases already made. What should I do to sell them as quickly as possible? You need to do an in-person Thera show. And you need to do an in-person Thera show immediately and stop waiting, okay? There's not going to be any secrets, 808. There's not going to be 808G. There's not going to be any secrets or special hacks or anything else. Like, do a local Thera show wherever you are. If you want to get really creative on it, because I love like the getting really creative on it, have a garage sale and put all of the canvases all strewn about the room. And then you don't even have to pay for a booth, and you don't even have to leave your house. Just sell some stuff that you have piled up in your garage. You know, you need to get rid of that anyway, or whatever, you know, in your attic, or however, wherever you live geographically. Have a garage sale and see how many of those canvases you can sell, right? Like that would be the ball game. Dasha, do you have another question? I can't tell if I didn't lower your hand or.
Yeah, I have another one. So when I first made my social media, I was just getting into painting and starting out, and I didn't really want to put my real name out there. Plus, I didn't feel like, everyone kept telling me to, you know, make a social media to start showing my art because I'm so good, but I was never confident enough. So when I started it, I just created, you know, a creative name for just, you know, my style of art, which is bemused artist. I paint only women, and so bemused is like amused, and I was always, you know, painting these like happy scenarios, like amusing, but also like bemused as in like you know, amuse, that so it was like a play on words. It was a cool name, But now that I'm actually, and I never thought I would, try to have art as my career. It was just like my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I've already gained this following with this username on
Mm-hmm.
all my social medias. My website has the same, name, but now it seems unprofessional. So
No one cares. No
I
one
know
cares.
there are artists who have like a different name, but
Mhm.
I know like fine artists usually use their first and last name. So now I'm at that point where I don't know what to do, because if I start changing it everywhere,
You don't need to change it.
I don't know if
You don't need to
people
change
like.
it any of those places. Leave all the handles that you have because you don't want to get rid of the followers, and just change the name to Dasha. Done.
So I should like change, I mean, I do have now I put my real name on Instagram and everything.
Yeah.
It's still under like being used artist, but
Mhm.
but I just have like the name,
Yeah,
there.
totally
So you're
fine.
saying so.
Totally fine. Totally non-issue.
Yeah. Okay, but what about like the website? It's also under that. So do I just leave it like this, or does it seem unprofessional?
No, I think it's fine. No one's gonna care, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
no one's gonna care
Yeah.
at all. You can redirect it. You can redirect it later if you're so inclined. If you want to you know, to your normal name if you're so inclined. But I wouldn't worry about it. It's literally a non-issue, like total non-issue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I thought like I was like seen as an unprofessional since I still have that, and if I'm like trying to apply for things or like message galleries.
Yeah, complete nonsense.
Okay.
Complete nonsense.
Okay.
None of that really matters in the grand scheme of things. Like people don't necessarily like they're not going to glom onto that. Just keep doing your thing. Keep
Gotcha.
selling. You should sign up with us. We could definitely help you. Subtle sales pitch there, but true. But yeah, but don't get wrapped up in those little small details like that. Like I see so many people that are like, they'll just get started when I figure out what my niche is. I like to do a little bit of painting and I like to do some photography. Then do both. How do you know? How do you know which one's going to do well? You haven't marketed it enough, right? Like, you could keep going, and like 3 years from now, you can do one big rebrand, right? To draw Dasha Prudnikova. Is it Russian?
Yeah, Russian.
Nice. Yeah, if you're so inclined, but I wouldn't worry about it. But I like Dasha. It's short and sweet, and there's not a lot of Dashas, so it's easy to remember. It's a good art name to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Don't worry. Keep painting. No pangs of self-doubt. That's what I'm talking about. Where you guys can be your worst enemies. You get inside your head and focus on all this nonsense. It's going to make no difference whatsoever to the business. What else? I'm trying to think. What else have I not mentioned? We are having, for anyone interested in signing up, it's one of the things that we do. We eat our own dog food at art storefronts, meaning, we don't ever advocate our customers do something unless we ourselves are doing it, or we would, we recommend we do it ourselves. So one of the biggest e-commerce holidays all year long is Amazon Prime Day. It's a huge, huge e-commerce day. Sort of like almost as big as Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And it's a made up holiday. Amazon made it up out of thin air. Amazon copied the Chinese because the Chinese have this thing called Singles Day, which is 11/11, which is the single solitary biggest e-commerce event in the entire world. It's not even close. It's like 10 times the size of Black Friday, Cyber Monday here in the United States. That's how big China's getting. But anyway, Amazon started Prime Day, did fantastically well. We're getting into some uncertain economic times, so Amazon is like, let's just do Prime Day again. Prime Day is now tomorrow, and so it's the 11th and 12th. They're just running another huge e-commerce sale because they want to try and sell as much stuff as they can before this recession hits or whatever economic downturn we're going into. So not only do we advocate that our customers have a sale during Prime Day, we put a little bit of spin on the language, like, if Amazon can have a sale, so can I. Support small business, that type of a thing. But we're having a huge Amazon Prime Day sale too. So anyone that's interested in signing up, when you request a demo and you talk to somebody on the phone the next 2 days, there's a huge sale going on for Prime Day. But we'll teach you all of those sorts of things, which are really, really important. And even sales, like, the running of sales and discounting. Most artists and photographers are absolutely mortified by that, right? Like, how could I possibly run sales? It cheapens me. Why would I want to do that? I'm not going to do that. And to which I always reply, the only two brands that I'm aware of that don't discount are Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. If you're saying that you have a brand that is that sweet, what the hell are you doing on this Zoom call? Okay? None of us do. Those are extremely strong brands, some of the strongest in the world. They can get away with not discounting. Everyone else discounts. The galleries are some of the biggest discounters in the history of mankind, okay? The gallery system is one of the most opaque systems in the history of mankind because they don't ever want to let any artist know how hard they negotiate on everything all the time. That's just literally how it goes. So, all right, that's what I would say. All right, Rick's asking me about AI-generated art. Are you an AI-generated artist? Is that what you're saying? Sell both offline and offline mixture works. Current e-commerce solution. Right here, should I tell you? Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's really, really interesting. The AI-generated art. And I'm going to unmute you, Rick, just in case you have a follow-up on this. And, so, like, I don't know if you guys have seen this or know what Rick's talking about. And I'm not 100% sure unless are you talking about the NFT stuff, or are you literally talking about the AI that will make, like, any artwork you wanted to make?
No, we're talking about actual art, not the NFT stuff. Yeah,
but are you saying, are you using a computer program to create the art? Are you creating?
That is correct.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's in its early days phase right now. And
yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's some extremely interesting stuff that's happened in the NFT space as a result of it. The NFT space sort of petered out pretty heavily as crypto crashed, and nowhere near as much of it's selling now, which I think is a good thing for it. Give it the time to like not be in the spotlight with the ridiculous prices to continue doing its thing. I think it's going to play a role certainly, but I think again, anytime anyone asks me like the questions about NFTs, and for those that don't know, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, it's tied to cryptocurrency. It is very complicated. One artist came out, and no different than the artists that are selling at Christie's and Sotheby's. This guy Beeple sold 162 million in 48 hours, and everyone thought it was a California gold rush. And everyone was asking me 5 questions a week about NFTs, and then no one ever wanted to know the real reason that this guy Beeple did a unique piece of digital art for like, what was it, 5 years, 7 years straight without missing a single solitary day. Guy grinded so hard to get what he got. Anyway, the AI generated art, I think a version of what Rick's saying is you can literally write a computer program and essentially have buttons on the computer program, and every time someone presses a button, it churns out a unique piece of art. There are collectors that are going nuts for that, even now. It's a smaller segment, but what I don't like is this is real. It goes on the wall. It's tangible, right? It has 3 dimensions. You can feel it. You can lust after it. No one is lusting after JPEGs, at least not in any massive quantity. So if you're going to do it, you have to contemplate prints of it. You have to. You have to have something physical and tangible to sell rather than just, the digital file.
Correct.
So that's what I would say. But otherwise, I'm not against it. What I'm terrified about is, independent of Rick's saying, they have AIs now where you can type in the color and you can say 2 birds flying over a lake at sunset, and the machine just paints it for you. And it's not that bad. Like, it's already in the current stages it's not that bad. And that terrifies me a little bit because I see all these posts like by artists saying like, hey, I just got contacted by a brand and somebody wants to use my art for this or that or the other. How should I negotiate? And they get all this advice and they go back and forth and they make the whole entire process so damn difficult for the brand to actually get the deal over the line that they're just going to go to AI in those cases. Why wouldn't they? Right? So that terrifies me a little bit. But by and large, you guys are all small businesses, and you are just as much a part of the brand as the work is. And that will always be the case, right? Like, people want to know what makes you tick, like what you're interested in, what your creative inspiration is, like how that all comes along. And they'll want to know that as much as they'll glom onto the art. So yeah, early days, but I'm excited about it. Rick.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, it's new, and definitely selling it as an actual artwork, like a canvas print or post or something, makes more sense than some digital image to me.
Yes,
that's what we do it that way. We sell it as a canvas print through our website.
Good. Keep doing that. That's definitely what I would recommend, because you know, what no one understands is like all day long, all of us for how many years now have been bombarded in our social media consumption 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, right? JPEG, 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 whatever file format it's in. That happens for long enough, and it could be the best photograph in the history of mankind times 10,000. But when you see it small and you see all these various different JPEGs all day long, you get desensitized to it, you know? That's why like so few artists understand that you holding the thing and talking about the thing is incredibly, incredibly important, right? Like you have to merchandise the work because this is something that people will lust after, not a JPEG. And I get it from photographers all the time. The photographers are like, I'll look at their Instagram profile and it's just, you know, 2D images, the whole thing. They haven't gotten their work printed and it's not hanging on a wall anywhere. They're not sitting next to it holding it or handing it to a customer or customers holding it or anything else. It's like, you guys are creatives. You creative types have this like incredible power of vision to be able to envision whatever you've created on the wall. The rest of us don't have that ability. We need to see the actual damn real thing, right? With 3 dimensions, right? Or stated another way is the final. If I hired you, Rick, to go door to door for me selling knives, when you knocked on the door, what would you have with you? You'd have the damn knives, right? Because it would be an impossible endeavor to try and sell otherwise. So that's what I would say about that. I love this. I love this. So Doug's saying like, what is wrong for an artist just to make their own website like Woocommerce or Adobe Dreamweaver, website builder? An artist, if they want to be successful, should be working on 3 things: creating the thing, marketing the thing, and selling the thing. Nowhere in creating the thing, marketing the thing, and selling the thing are any of the following: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, pixels, sizing things, forms, HTML of any capacity, searching forms for how to do this, that, or the other, changing colors or fonts, or any of the rest of that nonsense. Okay, you have enough on your plate without learning how to become a web programmer, Douglas. It is not a good use of your time. You becoming a better web programmer is not going to fundamentally change your art of photography business. All it's going to do is make you mildly competent at something you don't want to be doing anyway. Like, we don't even let our customers build the websites anymore. We do them for them because it's not a good use of your time, but it's not going to help you become more successful. It's not going to help you grow the business. It's not something you should even be wasting a minute of your time on. So can you do it? Yes, you can, but you're going to spend a whole bunch of time building a website, okay, that you think looks awesome, that is completely ineffective at selling art and photography, completely off the mark. Like, that's another thing that I'm going to rant on, and then Laura, I'll get your question. You know, I'll occasionally grab like 50 or 60 of the emails that come in on a daily basis, and I'll go and look at all their websites. We have this like little technology that like looks at your email, finds out what your website is, and then puts it in a sheet. And I'll look at them. And I look at all of these various different websites that all these various different artists and photographers build, right? And because you guys are artistic, you get these ideas in your head about what a website is supposed to look like, right? And how it's going to look good visually to you, right? And how things are going to line up. And what ends up happening is the amount of goofy shit that you guys put on the website is staggering, okay? There are image sliders in different colors and different fonts and moving things around, so much so that if anyone actually saw any art, it would be a miracle, okay? What you don't understand is what we're attempting to do when we sell art or photography online is we are attempting to mimic the best way to buy art or photography in the real world. The best way to buy art and photography in the real world is in an art gallery. That's what everyone understands. And there is a reason that pretty much all museums and all art galleries look the exact same. What do they all look like? Blank white walls, the art hanging up on them, and nothing else. And nothing else. And there is a reason for that. And the reason for that is that the art should be front and center and nothing else. And you guys with the image slideshows and the goofy fonts and all the rest of the different colors and the spread out thing, it's a miracle. Anyone can even look at the art. You make it so distracting. So artists and photographers left to their own devices build terrible websites. Happens all the time. Go ahead, Laura.
Yes. So my question is, I was up in Asheville, North Carolina, and this artist had tangible art, but they also had like NFT, but they didn't sell the NFT. They like you could look on your phone through an app and see like movement in their art.
Yep.
What is your take on that? I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
because I'd never seen it before.
I mean, it's just a GIF, right? It's like an animated JPEG. Right?
Yeah.
No, that becomes very, very difficult to put onto a canvas print, by the way. I bought my first Bitcoin when they were $12. I've been into crypto my entire life. Obviously I didn't keep enough of those damn Bitcoins, or otherwise I wouldn't be running this Zoom session. Okay, I would be on my own private. I would be on that thing right there, parked in the Mediterranean somewhere. I love cryptocurrency. I love the blockchain. I love all that it pertains. I love NFTs. I would imagine the amount of people on this call right now that are capable of buying an NFT, that have a MetaMask wallet, that have a position in Ethereum, that understand gas fees, that have an account in OpenSea is approximately zero. Okay, zero, aside from Rick, who I was talking to earlier. The interesting thing about NFTs is they are accretive to the art market. They are taking a bunch of people that weren't necessarily buying this art, that have a decent amount of money because they've invested in crypto early, and these folks are now purchasing these NFTs because they like what it portends. They believe in the blockchain. They believe in the ethos, and that's fantastic. What artists here are, oh my gosh, so-and-so is making hundreds of millions of dollars in NFTs. Instead of me actually doing any real work or actually working on my marketing, the only thing that will grow the damn business, I'm going to go run over here to the gold rush. It's 1849 all over again. I'm going to go run over here to Sutter's Mill in the gold rush, buy a pan and go get in the water. You're not going to make it. You're still going to have a marketing problem over there in NFTs, and that's the thing that infuriated me about them. So they're awesome, but they're very, very early days. Their sales and their enthusiasm is directly tied to cryptocurrency being at a decent level. We are now in another crypto winter in which it has crashed quite significantly. It's been following the stock market for a long time now. So NFTs are going to go through a dark winter right now. Who knows how long it's going to last? I think they're going to come back. I think there's awesome things that they portend. Are they going to be in their current iteration right now the most important thing about it? No, they're not. I mean, it's very, very complicated. Very, very few people understand it. And unless you eat, live, and breathe cryptocurrency, you're trading it all the time. You're in Decentraland. You're in multiple different altcoins as well as the stables. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's just not for you right now. Don't even worry about it. You got 99 problems. That's not one.
All right. Well, I just thought it was odd that they could sell their art, but they're not selling their NFTs. But you could still look at the art on your own wall through like an app. Yeah. That no one's
downloading and no one's doing. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. What's interesting about the NFTs, and I'll close it out with this, unless anybody has any final questions. It's just digital, so it doesn't even wrap up the delivery of the actual digital asset. All it is a contract, right? It's essentially just a contract that you can put parameters in, right? Which is why everyone loves it. I.e., if I sell this thing to you and you ever sell it again, I automatically get 10%, and it governs that transaction, and that's awesome. I love that on the face of it. What's interesting about it, though, is it's really just selling a contract. And what's far more interesting than actually selling the work is an NFT, is selling, let's say, 10 NFTs to 10 collectors. And the first 3 you price at a certain level, the next 3 you price at a higher level, the last 3 you price at the highest level. And in the contract, in those NFTs, you just say, token holders 1 through 10. And again, let's say, just to keep the numbers simple, 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 token holders, they all bought the token for $1,000. And then token holders 4, 5, 6 all bought it for $5,000. And then 7, 8, 9 all bought it for $10,000, right? And now you have 3, 3, and 3. I know the math's not perfect, just deal with it. In that particular token, you can write a contract that says, as a holder of my collector token, you are entitled to first right of refusal of all work that I sell in order of the holder of your token. And people can buy those as a way to support the artist, right? Is a way to support the artist, but also say, I believe in you. I know you need some patronage, you need some help. So I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these NFTs from you. And as a result of it, I am going to get first right of refusal for all new works that you create from now into perpetuity, or however you want to do it, right? But that's one great way to do it. And if they ever sell that collector coin to another collector, you grow in prominence, you could take a portion of that sale. Now that is an awesome use of an NFT. The thing about it though is that like it's really hard to enforce. How do you enforce those contracts when you get out of the United States and then you're in other countries? The whole thing is just, it's a mess. But that concept of like, you get onto my collector's list if you buy this NFT and you get your first right of refusal, like that is what they're made to do, not deliver some JPEG. But anyway, I'm opinionated on these things. Don't worry about NFTs though. They're going to be very, very quiet for a very long time until crypto ends up coming back. And I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon. Been through some up-down markets over my days and those things. Other than that, thanks guys for sticking it out. That was fun. I hope you learned something. Hope you found it to be beneficial. Trying to think what else. Yeah, Douglas, it doesn't matter if you have a you have a brick and mortar store to sell and sell their works. You still have to sell them digitally. I think it's great that you have a brick and mortar store. That doesn't hurt you at all. It can be super beneficial. Like I said, I mean, I think knowing all that I know about marketing and being inside, if I started my art business right now today, and knowing that I have some skills at digital marketing, I would mentally write the check for the next 10 years of my life. And I would say I'm going to work 70% of my time on the digital aspects of this business, continuing to grow it, leverage social media, get better and better and better. The 30% of the time, I'm going to look for local, what my connections, who I know can get me plugged into in-person events where I can execute my marketing playbook. And I'm going to do that for the next 10 years. At the end of that 10 years, I'll have hundreds of thousands of people on a list. I'll have several hundred collectors that will sustain the business for the rest of my life. That'll be it. That's what I would do. So in-person stuff is still a great way to go. But okay, I'm going to email you guys all the resources, everything that I talked about, that's, the others. Laura, good luck on the demo tonight. Okay. Hold that phone up, do a little Instagram live while you're doing it. Be like, hey, I'm down here at such and such. All the pieces are for sale. I take cash, check, Venmo, and anything that's not nailed down. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me on the session, and I'll send you the replay soon. And have a great